Hi and welcome. This is Trader Genius, and I'm Jess, and I'm joined here today with Brandon, one of the awesome members of our community. Welcome, Brandon. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So, I just want to talk to you a little bit today about your evolution as a trader and kind of where you came from and where and what you're up to today. So, before we get started, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I live in Billings, Montana. I'm a car hauler. I haul cars. We have um, a contract with Chrysler, and so we haul cars all over Montana and into Wyoming and the Dakotas. And so that's what I do for my full-time job. Keeps me pretty busy, 80 plus hours a week. So
Yeah, that's a lot. So, with 80 plus hours a week, what brought you to trading?
yeah, so I've always kind of had a lure to trading. I've always kind of had an interest in it, and going back even to when I was a younger kid, and um, it was just kind of hard to find information on it, though, and I tried to get on the internet a few different times and find what I could on it, and really never, 10 years ago it was a little bit harder to find stuff, but within the last few years, I would say, well, since 2017, I um, I had a good friend of mine who, um, anyway, had another good friend who trades, and he had kind of mentioned it to me, and I thought, man, this kind of, I guess what I'm trying to say is I started to develop more of an interest in it, and to make a long story short, I had found some videos on Udemy, and um, it was options day trading, and so I had purchased the first one or the first course for like $5 or $10, and went through that course, and I was hooked. And so went through the final two, or I think there were two or three more anyway. I went through them and downloaded this, bought the software, and got my brokerage set up and started doing a little replay, and then moved into paper trading. And I really wasn't that consistent with it, but I thought, well, that's okay. I'll be consistent once I start trading real money. That wasn't the case.
And so you were trading for a little bit, and then you ended up deciding to head into coaching and get started, get some coaching underneath your belt. You talk a little bit about that process and how you developed as a trader going through that coaching.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'd started into trading and kind of dying a death of a thousand cuts. I I finally come to the realization that I couldn't figure this. I needed help. I needed some guidance, and so that's when I got Coach Rob involved and went through the Cornerstone process, or not the process, but the Cornerstone coaching, and um, yeah, and so as and I've been involved with that for the last couple of years, and so as I've been gone through the coaching and whatnot, it just kind of it's developed from there. I've met a lot of really cool people. We have a lot of really neat members that I've had the opportunity to meet, and so yeah, I guess to kind of touch on the coaching a little bit more, as I went through the coaching, I my mindset it changed my mindset of what trading actually was. Before um, before I got coaching involved, my idea of trading was to get in and make money. Which is that's okay to a point. I mean, that's everybody. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to make money. But as I went through coaching, I started to learn that my focus started to change from getting in the markets to making money to following a process and to becoming consistent in that process. And that's really where changes for me started to come.
And how did you know? How did you know that? focusing on the process was a successful or a better way of doing what you were doing versus focusing on the money?
Well, I mean, the only way to know is to do it. I mean, and so, if you can have that self discipline to um, follow a program or follow a plan or follow um, a process, that's where you're going to start to see that consistency, and then with that consistency follows the money. And so,
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That's awesome, and that definitely took some work to come through to the other side to be able to make that a reality with shifting your focus. And so, kudos to you for definitely looking kind of back at yourself and not looking externally for a problem, and choosing to look in the mirror and make those changes. And ultimately, that's what's led to you sitting here and continuing to be successful. So when you got done with the coaching, you had some changes in work, or some conflicts in work with day trading and options, because that's what you were doing previously. So you ended up moving into the stock market. Can you trading stocks? Can you talk a little bit about that process, going from the options day trading to trading stocks with the Trader Genius system?
yeah, so yeah, before with my old job, it allowed me the opportunity to, get in and trade market open, with the options. And then as life circumstances changed, still doing the same thing as far as work, but it makes it to where this new job, it makes it to where I have to leave earlier in the morning, and so it doesn't give me that opportunity to trade, in the morning. And so um, to to combat that, or not really to combat it, but to um, I guess what I've done is I've transitioned into stocks, because what the stocks allow me to do is, I can go in with the Trader Genius software, find my stocks, find, what I want to trade. And then I can go in to my brokerage and set those orders and walk away and go to work and let the stock and the markets do the work, for me.
Yeah, it'd be pretty hard to be day trading options while driving down the road with hauling a bunch of cars. Uh, so that switch over for day trading options to trading stocks, was that a very complex kind of switch, or did was the move to stocks uh, a little bit smoother than you thought?
No, I mean, you basically, we're just taking the same principles that we learn in coaching, that we apply to the options. I use the cornerstone method, the same thing that I was using in the options, and I just applied it to stocks. Um, Honestly, it was seamless. I mean, I go in, I go through the 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 stock list, and I find the stocks that I like that are meeting the criterion of my process. And yeah, it's that simple.
Yeah, so you were, have the cornerstone method, and that transferability is simple. It still takes work to maybe a little understand a little bit about the stock market versus the options market if you're new. Um, but then you were talking about the lists. Can you talk a little bit about the lists that you're using, and kind of what you like about the lists, and how they help you?
Yeah, so yeah, the list, um, I go off of the new highs list. That's kind of my go-to in the Trader Genius software. And um, I remember back in, I don't know, I think it was June, we had a meeting, and we talked a little bit about this new highs list. And you guys, as the coaches, had kind of laid out a, uh, a specific um, um, process. And I thought that I remember at that time, that's when a light went off in my head. I'm like, oh, this is, I like this. And so that's where I started putting that process to work, off of the new highs list. And I've seen a lot of success with it, since then. So yeah. Um,
And since then we have the smart lists that have come out. And are you currently using the smart lists, and how do you see the smart list helping you in what you're currently already doing?
yeah, so the smart list, I do. I am currently using it. I use that in conjunction with, the new highs list. And I mean, I really like the new high or the smart list because it allows you to go in and set your rules in, um, filter your rules into stocks. And so what it does is it really narrows down that list of thousands of stocks that we've talked about to just a few. And what I like to do with the smart list is, even then, it'll come up with 10 or 20 or whatever, and I'll go through them. And if there's something on there that I really like, or, um, even in the new highs list, if I see something there that I really like, I'll kick it over into a watch list that I've got set up. And so then I'll take it from there. And it's kind of a process. I just kind of, whittle it down a little here and a little there. And then, because sometimes, I mean, when things are really moving, there might be a lot of different really good opportunities. You can't take them all. So you have to kind of, you know, qualify and see which ones that might present the best opportunity.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, those smart lists are super powerful. So, with that being said, what is your favorite aspect of Trader Genius, whether it be the community or the software or anything in between?
I like it all, Jess. It's hard for me to really tell you which one is my favorite. I can tell you, as we've already talked, I really do like the new highs list. But man, we've got a lot of really cool people here. Um, I've met some really neat people. Rob, you, Stephen, and I really appreciate the support that you guys give as a community. I mean, you guys, we were talking a little bit before this. You guys could just, go off and trade and not never have to deal with all this. But, you guys provide a lot of support to us, and that's one thing that I really like about our community. I've met a lot of people, a lot of really cool people in our meetings. There's a huge range um, of of experience. There's some really experienced traders, and then there's people that are just starting out. And there are people in there that started when I started, and it's been neat to kind of see how they've evolved throughout time as a trader. And it's actually really cool to see them still there, because a lot of times people get started in this and they find it either too hard or too whatever, and they just give up. But, um, so it's neat to see some of those people that started out about the same time I did still there. So yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, we definitely enjoy doing it. We love the community as well, and that's why we're here. And
Yeah.
so with with that, like, what has Trader Genius done for you, or what's it helped you realize about where you're headed?
Yeah, so Trader Genius, I mean, it's helped me, again, change as a, as a, when you first start out as a trader, you want to make money. You want to get in there. You want to trade the markets. You're there to make money. And, that anyway, that's certainly where I was at. But as I've learned, um, you need to have that self control. You need to have self awareness, I guess is what I'm trying to say, um, to be able to be consistent in the markets. And what I mean by that is, it's really easy to, when you put on a trade and it doesn't work out, it's really, really easy to blame it on the market, the software, the coach, whatever the case might be. But, if you take a look at yourself and realize that it's about you, it's about you as a person and how you perceive things, that's that's going to be your um, that's going to, I guess that's going to be what's going to make you or break you as a trader. And so, yeah, what's between your ears, how do you perceive things? How, um, when things go wrong, do you blame it on other things, or do you take a look at yourself and say, okay, what do I need to do here to change, to what have I done wrong? What do I need to do to achieve the consistency?
You're still here, and the reason is because you took ownership of that. You took ownership of that back when you decided that, oh no, I need coaching, and going on that path, and that's what has allowed for you to have so much success that you have had, is that personal responsibility and that commitment to personal growth. So that's why we're here, and that's what makes the community special, and that's what makes us continue to do it. Is folks like yourself that's taking personal responsibility and really looking for that personal growth throughout that process. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming on here and spending time with us. It was a real pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you on Friday at one of our meetings.